Okay, so this whole thing about um, you know, uh, I was watching First Take today, and they was basically saying that Stephen actually Molly asked Stephen A. Do you what games how long or how long can the Celtics stretch the series, or how far can this series go? Both Max and Stephen A. said it's going to be a sweep. Now, I get it. I really do. It wouldn't be the first time if the Brooklyn Nets don't make it all the way. Because I've been telling y'all people for the past few months, the Brooklyn Nets, they'll never go to win the championship. And I'm not saying this to be bitter. I'm not saying this to be mean. I despise the Nets. I literally been watching the Nets since, I was 5 years old, because where I was from, they only televised the Nets. Like I used to live in New Jersey, Patterson, New Jersey, and that's the only time they would show the Nets. The Nets was actually televised there. So when I wanted to see a Knicks game, I had to, you know, me, my uncle, and my brother had to drive across the Hudson River just to watch a Knicks game, or probably go to an area where you know they were showing Knicks games to actually see them. You know what I'm saying? They stinked when it was New Jersey, and they stunk now when they moved here in around 2010. So I mean, it's been what, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's probably been 11 years since they've been well, it's been 11 years since they've been with Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Since they moved here, you know, or 10 at another, let me see, 10. Yeah, probably about like 11 years. But the simple fact is that playing, like, okay, so Stephen A. Smith said that the reason why they're gonna beat, or they're gonna sweep them, is because they can't match their offense efficiency. Okay, like we all know that the Nets are bad on defense. That's their Achilles heel. If they have a kryptonite, they're poorly bad on defense. Now sometimes it may not show it, sometimes it will, but when you have three superstars who don't put effort on the defensive side, they think that they can just walk in and just outscore everybody. That's not how you play basketball. You have to play both ends of the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to play both ends of the ball. People don't understand that. Or people just don't lack of understanding. You know? Like, if I'm just scoring, and then if I'm giving up points on the other end, how am I going to maintain the lead? You know what I'm saying? Because once the Brooklyn Nets score, because they average about like what, 132 points a game. They give up like 108 points per game. So they're great. Don't get me wrong. But this reminds me of the Phoenix Suns team. Y'all remember the 7 seconds or less offense that Mike D'Antoni was running under Steve Nash? Exactly. They were the number one team in offensive efficiency that year. Guess who was the number one offensive efficiency that year? This year, the Nets. So when you have everything in a pot, it all makes sense. If you put all the ingredients in the powder, it all makes sense. It all adds up, you know. Now, a lot of y'all people think that the Nets are gonna get swept. A lot of people think that the Nets are probably. I mean, not the Nets. The Celtics is gonna take this to 7. I think that it's gonna be one of those Heat versus. I think it's gonna be one of those Heat versus Bucks type of matchup where nobody really expect just to beat them, not to obviously advance. I mean, obviously they're gonna advance if they do beat them, but it rings. It gives me this matchup gives me a Bucks versus Heat type of matchup where nobody's giving them credit, nobody's giving them a chance, and you got three of the greatest players on the earth playing in one team, you know? Now, I have them, I mean, I think either the Boston Celtics, not the Boston Celtics, I think the Milwaukee Bucks or the Philadelphia Eagles have a slightly chance of beating the Nets. If it's the Celtics, then it's cool. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? But if the Celtics don't get it done, it's going to have to be up to those two. Now, obviously, the Nets are going to have home court advantage for the first two games. We all know that. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to go back to Boston in the next two games. So the series might go 2-0 and it might be tied 2-2. You know what I'm saying? And the Boston Celtics might probably take the next two games or probably take one game and then the Nets might probably take the other one. So we don't, it might be a 4-2, it might be a 4-1. We don't know. But all I know is the Nets are probably going to win the first two games. So don't be surprised if they do win the first two games. But the next two games is going to be crucial. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want that, you know. But for me, I think that it's going to go to 5. That's just my honest opinion. I think it's going to go to 5 games. I don't think the Boston Celtics is going to get swept, even though they're missing Brown. I think they'll still be great with Smart, who's a very, very good defender. You got Kemba Walker, you got Jason Tatum, and you got Tristan Thompson, which obviously he helps on the defensive side. You know, so I mean, it's just I don't know, man. I don't know. I know, but it just irks me because people just see the talent and not the work. You know, you know the old saying, talent, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't have to work. And that was always drilled in me when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you could get here because of your attributes or because of your special abilities, but if you don't work hard, you're just gonna let that sink in. You're just gonna fall back on your, special abilities. You know what I'm saying? Just like a female. A female can be cute as hell, but when she gets older, that beauty, that beauty fades away. You know what I'm saying? Like you would rather have a chick that have brains than bronze. You know what I'm saying? Like you would rather have a chick that's smart than a chick that just have good looks. Because when she's in her 60s, 50s, that junk is gonna go away real fast. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it makes sense when they say hard work beats talent. You know what I'm saying? Because if you work hard at something, it's gonna show. But if you just rely on your talent, then it's always gonna be the same story. You know what I'm saying? So for all y'all Brooklyn Nets fans out there or bandwagon fans out there, because Lord knows that they have any fans. Shoot, they haven't had fans since I mean the fans abandoned them. You know what I'm saying? So But everybody want to hop on the Nets bandwagon, right? Everybody want to hop on the Nets bandwagon. Yeah, the Nets got three of the greatest players of all time, or this and that, you know. But they still have to go out there and win these games. You think the Celtics is just gonna play poorly? If they do, then y'all might as well say it's rigged. You know, like if the Celtics don't put up a fight, at least put up a fight if you're going down. Don't just lay down and just accept it like it's wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like at least fight back. You know what I'm saying? Um, like I remember when Jonathan Coachman was keep picking on Jerry the King, not Jerry, Jonathan Coachman. Jonathan. Jr. can't fight. He's not a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? So at least he fought back. You know, at least he fought back. So it's the same thing. Like if you're gonna lose, lose with dignity, lose with pride. You know what I'm saying? Don't lose in an old, ugly, beat up fashion. You know what I'm saying? So, but who I think is gonna win? Celtics, easily, easily. Now, like I said, I don't want to see the Brooklyn Nets win the championship, to be honest with you. And I know the NBA is not going to do that because I know it's going to be a little bit too obvious, you know? Like, how many of y'all expected the Lakers to win the championship? Not me. I thought it was going to be the Bucks. I thought it was going to be Giannis' year to actually finally win a championship. But we all got fooled, right? The Lakers, you know? The Lakers was not even remotely that good. But, it is what it is. Because the NBA, they look at it as, okay, do we want to do we want to keep on repeating the same old method, like giving the Lakers a championship? Like, don't they have enough? You know, seems legit to me. Give it to the Heat. How many championships do the Heat have? Give it to the Bucks. Give it to the Clippers. Give it to teams with opportunities. That's all I ask. Give it to the same team, like, don't they already have enough banners as it is? Like, it's sickening, you know? It really is. But, it is what it is, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. And I hope if it's not the Celtics, if somehow if I swear if it's the Knicks and the Celtics, if it's the Knicks and the Nets, can you imagine the magnitude of that game? Just saying, just throwing it out there. If the Celtics can't get it done, or if they die trying, can you imagine? Because the Knicks are going to take care of business. The Knicks are going to beat the Hawks. There's no question about that. But can you imagine if the Knicks and the Nets face each other? Just saying, number 4 seed versus number 2 seed. Fireworks. But anyways, man, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.